we are going to do something today that I have not done in a hot minute, and that is a tag video, which is called the Off the Top of Your Head book tag. I saw this over on the BookBuds channel, and this was originally created by the Library Mouse Gina, and I will link them down below if you want to check out their channels. So, as it sounds, it's off the top of my head. Basically, I'm going to interview myself and ask myself some questions. I'm going to give you the answers. Also, myself the answers, because I don't know what's going to come out of my mouth, but we'll find out together. So, the first question is, what was your favorite picture book as a child? I think I have two. I want to say Where the Wild Things Are and Goodnight Moon. I really loved Goodnight Moon. I remember loving that book quite a lot. So I would say those two are my favorite picture books. And like, especially like picture-wise, Where the Wild Things Are, the artwork in that, fantastic. I love how all those monsters were drawn and just the way the story went. It was an awesome book and still is. Okay, question number 2. What series did you love as a child? So as a kid, I don't remember loving like a book series as like a little kid. I know as I got older, I love the Narnia series. That was one of my favorite series. My mom used to read it to me, but then I also read it by myself, maybe around the age of 10. I would say I consider myself still a kid at that age. So yeah, Narnia, the Narnia series. Okay, so the worst book you have read or ever tried to read. I feel like I've tried to think about this before, and I DNF so many things that it's possible the worst book that I ever read, I DNF'd it because I wasn't enjoying reading it. I don't tend to like want to struggle through a book that I'm not enjoying. Like, that's not fun for me. I know some people have that like whole like, I need to complete it if I started it. I need to finish what I started. And me, like, if it's not enjoyable to me, life is too short. There are so many books out there. I'm not going to keep reading it. I do have one book in my brain, like, I don't know if it's the worst, but I did DNF it. It had like the most beautiful cover, and it was a book called Fayborn. And I DNF'd it after a few pages because the writing was atrocious and I couldn't handle it. But is that the worst book I've ever read? I don't know. I really don't. So I cannot honestly pinpoint one off the top of my head. I kind of wish I could, but I can't. It's in those DNFs somewhere. I'm sure of it. All right, the next question is your favorite reading or book memory. That is a really hard one. Like, what is my favorite reading or book memory? I think, okay, I have one that's like book related, and it wasn't reading. It's definitely a book-ish memory. The first time I ever went to, there is a bookstore in Ann Arbor, Michigan, which is called the Literati Bookstore. And it is my most favorite bookstore on the planet. It's an indie bookstore. You have these like awesome wooden floors. There's a downstairs. The people and staff that work there are amazing and are so helpful. And the first time I ever went there, I think it was like my birthday. I don't remember the name of the staff person who helped me, but she was amazing. And we were just like blah, 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 blah about books. She recommended several books to me, and I just kept piling up more books to get. And it was awesome. And that's something that really sticks out in my head. And I love going to independent bookstores. And I'm trying to think too, like, is there anything else that sticks out in my brain? Like, oh, reading this book for the first time or this, that, and the other. I think that's probably my favorite bookish memory that I can think of, at least right now. You know, it's whatever pops in my brain, right? Off the top of my ding head. Next up, we have a book that you loved as a movie. A book that I loved as a movie. I think the Lord of the Rings trilogy, I think I loved those as movies. They did an amazing job on them, and I don't really have any complaints. Like, a lot of books to movies aren't that great, and those, I think they did a phenomenal job. Okay, the next question is a book you wish would be made into a movie. Okay, and I've said this a few times just because I think it would make a great movie. There's this book called Frostbite by Angela Sylvain, and it's so ridiculous. It would be a crazy, like, B horror movie, and it's about, there's this meteor that crash lands behind this, like, trailer park. There's this whole, like, prairie dog colony that's in this area where it crash lands, and it seems like some sort of, like, parasitic worm gets into the prairie dog population, and the prairie dogs get all violent and they start attacking and biting people, and that's how it transfers like this crazy madness and mania. And at first no one really believes that this had happened, but there's this girl and this her friend that kind of catch on real quick of what's going on, and they have to try to save the town, and it's absolute insanity, and it's great, and I loved it. It would make a fantastic B-horror movie. So maybe one day, we'll see. Okay, next up is a book character you wish to have as a friend. And that is such a hard question to answer. Most of the time I'm like, none. But I do have an answer to this. I would like, as a friend, the character Oi from the Dark Tower series. Oi was a creature that was a billy bumbler and somewhere between like a raccoon, dog, tanuki, strange creature. And I loved Oi very much so. And I would like Oi to be my friend. Seemed like a good little sweet bloke. No humans for me, just Oi. A place you want to visit because of a book you read. Hobbiton. I'll go to Hobbiton. I'll go to the Shire. New Zealand. Outside of that, I don't know. I've always wanted to go to Ireland and Greece, but not so much since I've read about them in books. So I guess the Shire or Hobbiton, you know, it's not quite real, but there's an actual Hobbiton that exists in New Zealand. And I've wanted to go to New Zealand because it seems like a pretty beautiful, amazing place. Okay, next up, a nonfiction book that you would recommend. Okay, so one of my favorite all-time nonfiction books ever is The Creative Act, A Way of Being by Rick Rubin. It is one of the best books on creativity that I've ever read, and it shows you how creativity is for everyone, even those that don't even think they have creativity. Like, the way that Rick Rubin presents it and shows it to you is very visceral and tangible and just shows you a kind of different way to look at it and just to have creativity in your everyday to day life. And it's truly fantastic. I do have a standalone review for that book that I can link down below if you'd like a little more backstory and more info, like exactly what it's about. Okay, so the next question is, if you could hang out with an author all day, who would you pick and why? I don't know. You know what? I would pick Rick Rubin because I think he's only written that one book, but I listened to his podcast, Tetragrammatron, and he is such a fascinating person, especially with his whole background in music as a producer and just the way his mind works. He's quite the fascinating and intelligent and intriguing person, and I would love to just sit down and have a conversation with him and hang out, and we could, you know, go meditate on the beach or whatever. Walk around barefoot with no shoes because that's what he likes to do. I think that would be cool. All right, so yeah, that's like the top of my head answers. Could these change in the future? You know they could. It's just what's in the top of my head right now, right? I don't know what I'm going to say when we start these things, but now we know. So that's something. So now's the part of the video where I'm supposed to tag people, but I'm really weird about that. You know, like, people are busy. Life is busy. If you enjoy this tag and think you'd like to do it, consider yourself tagged. And if you enjoyed hanging out today, hit that subscribe button, come back, see me again, and we'll talk about more bookish things and weird stuff.